Hi everyone, my name is Jaison Mathew. In this video, I'm going to show you how to connect a Cisco wireless LAN controller into your network infrastructure. In this setup, I have one 5520 WLC and another switch, that is 3850. And we have multiple methods to connect. You can play around with the switching theories in background, and you can do any kind of connectivity between your controller and your infrastructure. But here I'm trying to show you the different methods that you can use it in your lab to get basic connectivity. So if you are configuring some factory default device or something like that, and you want to get the management interface, or you are doing some testing, you don't need any major stuffs to be configured on your controller. You can even use a access VLAN here. But Cisco always recommends to use a trunk interface with native VLAN configuration, also with allowed VLANs configured on that network based on your requirement. So let me show you the setup here. So this 5520, I'll show you the interface configuration on that. So run interface, sorry. So as you can see here, I have the basic configuration on the controller side. I have an untagged interface with IP address of 9.9.10. Show CDP neighbor will give you the interface information about the switch. So this is the interface G1/0/2. Show run interface G1/02. As you can see here, I just I have the interface without having any configuration. So we'll start from the scratch. So one option is, as I said, you can even use a access VLAN on this to get the connectivity. So let me start configuring it. Interface G1/02 switch port mode access. Switch port, okay, let me put it as switch port first. Switch port mode access. Switch port access VLAN 9, because this particular switch is this particular WLC is connected to VLAN 9. The native VLAN is 9. So I configured as switch port mode access. Let me show you the configuration. Sorry. So as you can see here, this one is configured as an access VLAN, and mode is access. And here we already have a management interface that is untagged. So let me show you how it works. 9.9.1. So this access VLAN, it will take some time to get that reachability, but let me keep trying that thing. Okay, so now you can see this particular controller is having a reachability to your your infrastructure. So let me do a ping from switch side, and you already established a successful connectivity between your switch and WLC. This is not the completely, it's not a recommended way to do it, but in case if you want to do any kind of fast connectivity or something for any testing purpose or something, you can even use your access VLANs configured on the switch. So you can untag your interface and you can directly connect it to your infrastructure, and you will get the reachability. So this can be used only in emergency situation or something, but it's not a recommended way. The recommended way is to use a trunk port. So first I will start from the switch side. So let me remove this access VLAN. As you can see here, it's able to ping. I'm going to remove that access VLAN configuration. Sorry, wrong window. So let me remove this switch port mode access. No switch port access VLAN. Okay, so now you can see that I removed this interface configuration. There is nothing. Now let me configure the switch port into trunk mode. Switch port mode trunk. But this is not sufficient when you have a configuration as untagged. So basically the switching theory says that if you have untagged interface, on the other side you should have something to tag. So by default the native tagging on this interface on trunk mode will be native VLAN 1, and that native VLAN 1 is not matching with the requirement of your controller. The controller is looking for a VLAN as 9. If you are not giving that information on trunk port, this controller that is having untagged interface, you don't know how to communicate. So let me do that communication, let me fix that issue by adding switch port trunk native VLAN 9. Now controller is going to send the data traffic without having any tags, but it will fall under VLAN 9. So with this configuration we should be able to ping our gateway in this mode. As you can see, you establish a connectivity. Let me show you the different mode of connectivity on trunk port. So now you know your interface is supporting, your switch port interface is supporting the untagged interface. Let me tag this interface on the controller side and let's see how it's going to work. So basically as per the switching theory it will not work. So let me configure that. Config interface VLAN management. Let me put 9 here. Okay, config, we have to disable all the WLANs, otherwise it will not accept any changes on your management interface. So let me configure this. So now you can see this particular management interface is tagged with VLAN 9 and you have native VLAN 9 configured on your switch side. So based on this configuration it should not work. Previously it works because it was having untagged interface. So let me ping this 9 network so that I can show you that it's not going to work. So as you can see here, okay, as you can see here, receive count is 0 because you have VLAN tagging done on your controller side and you have VLAN tagging done on your switch side. That's the reason it's not pinging. So let me remove this native VLAN configuration and we should establish the connectivity now. It will take some time to get it updated, but we will get that connectivity. Okay, so now you can see your controller is having tagging and you don't have any tagging on your switch side. So let me show you the full configuration on my switch interface. So you can see I have only one line configured on that interface, that is switch port mode trunk, and controller is having the VLAN tagging. So this is the recommended way from Cisco to configure your switch infrastructure for connecting it. So along with this they are asking us to configure switch port trunk allowed VLAN and give all the VLAN information 910. So let me show you the full configuration. So do show run interface 0/2. So as you can see, I configured this one as trunk mode, and I also allowed all the VLANs that I needed for establishing my entire wireless network. So if you have multiple interfaces configured or multiple WLANs mapped with a different interface or something, this is the recommended way of doing the connectivity. Now I show three different methods, two methods with untagged interface, one method with a tagged interface. Now we have one more issue that is related to the switch configuration, that is VLAN.1Q tag native. There is a command on switch that can help you to tag your native VLAN itself. So for an example, this particular switch is running native VLAN as 1 and you are participating on 9, and if you want to tag your native VLAN on your interface, you can use this command. So let me enable this command. This will allow switch to tag the interface with even if you have native VLAN configured. So now you can see here you have a trunk interface. You don't have native VLAN. If you enable native VLAN with tagging, last time that didn't work. I shown that it's not pinging. So now I configured this native VLAN tagging. .1q tagging is enabled on the switch. Native VLAN tagging is enabled on switch. So that will allow you to use your VLAN tagging on controller side and your infrastructure side. So let me ping your IP, the gateway. This one is pinging. Now you can do config interface terminal, okay, interface G1/02 switch port trunk native VLAN 9. Now I am tagging this interface. So switch port trunk native VLAN is given on this port, means with this combination, with this particular command, this particular VLAN native VLAN 9 is going to do a tagging. Let me try to ping this interface, ping this IP. As you can see, now it's working fine. You have VLAN tagging enabled on your controller side, you have VLAN enabled on your switch side, but still it's pinging. Previously, without this configuration, it was not pinging. So this is one of the other mode of connectivity if you have VLAN tagging is enabled. So let me show you that now. As you can see, let me show you that again. 9.9.9.10. Now you can see it's pinging. Now I'm going to remove this .1q tagging so that I can show you that it's not going to work again. So as you can see, I'm trying to ping. It was pinging previously, and it's not pinging from controllers, switch side also. So that's how it works in background. Basically everything is switching theory. You have to understand why it's working, why it's not working, then you can figure it out. So let me show you how to make it working. Now I have native VLAN configured without having .1q tagging. That's why it's not working. So interface G1/02 switch port. Let me remove that native VLAN switch port, trunk native VLAN. So I removed that native VLAN. Now it should be able to ping the IP. It will take some time to get refreshed on the R table and interface and all those things. So let's wait for that time. Let's see how much time it's going to take for refreshing this information. Let's see how many attempts we have to do to get that connectivity back. Still is not up. Sorry. Did we done something wrong? Let me check this interface. Okay, so we have trunk interface, allowed VLAN 9 is enabled. Show interface summary. We have everything in right configuration, so it should work. So let's see, is it working or not. So here I'm going to wait for a long time. Let's see how much time it's going to take to refresh that information. Okay, so it's taking time more than expected, so let me shut down that interface and unshut the interface once so that we will get the force update. Okay, so we did a shut and no shut. Now let me ping to that IP again. See how much time it took to get that connectivity back. So that's why I'm saying, so basically I didn't done any changes. I was keep pinging and I changed something, and you can see that it took long time to get that information refreshed in the right way, and now you got the connectivity. I didn't done anything in background. I was keep changing the I was keep trying it. So don't get into a panic mode when you are reaching into this kind of situation, because sometimes it happens. So you have to be patient and you have to keep trying. So first thing, you have to understand the theory, and as per the theory, if you are 100% sure that it's the right way to configure, it will work. So you have to just wait. So now you can see we waited for a long time, and you can see that timeline, how much we waited, how many retries we did, and finally we got that connectivity after that much time of checking. So this is how you have to you can configure your switch for doing this connectivity part. The next thing what you have to do is how you are going to connect your interfaces if you have multiple interfaces. So this particular controller is having only one interface connected. So let me just tell you the theory so that you can keep it in mind and you can apply in while you are configuring the controller. So when you talk about the physical connectivity on WLC, you have that covered as port. It's not interface. So that's a physical port. So to see that information, so wrong window again, show port summary. Summary is the command to see the physical port details on your controller side. This is not like interface, it's not interface. So what you have to keep it in your mind is you have physical ports and everything else is kind of a virtual interfaces. So including the management is a virtual interface. Physical port is the one having the physical connectivity to your switch. So if you have multiple interfaces, so as I said earlier, it's a 5520. You have only two interfaces that can go up to 10 gig uplink. So if you want to combine both the interfaces into one channel group, so channel group means in your controller side it called as lag, that is link aggregation, and your switch side it's called as channel group. So how to configure channel group, that is covered in multiple other videos. I don't want to cover that. The only thing you have to keep in your mind when you are using Cisco WLC is when you are using channel group or interface bonding, like bundling multiple interfaces or something like that. On the controller side, the configuration is simple. That is config lag enable. This is the only command. If you click on that command, it will ask for a reboot, because lag mode applying that configuration is only possible with a reboot. If you want to configure that, you can use lag and you can enable that on the controller side. But in case of WLC, in case of switch, you have only one mode that supports with WLC, Cisco WLC, that is mode on. Mode on means that's a we are not using any LACP protocol, and active and passive mode is not supported on Cisco wireless LAN controller. If you have multiple interfaces connected, you have to use mode on the switch side. So that is something that you have to keep it in your mind. LACP is not supported on Cisco WLC that is running with AirOS. So keep that in mind. Other than that, it's a basic interface bounding. Then you can use same configuration on most of the switch models in Cisco. So that's it. I'm stopping here. So hope this one will help you to configure your controller and get a basic reachability or connectivity with your infrastructure. Thank you for watching. See you in next video.